Thanks for staying with us on the conversation. The first half, we dealt with political ban of rallies in Zimbabwe. Right now, we're shifting our attention to Nigeria, where supporters of the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi trooped out in loved cheers at the campaign rally in Lagos on Saturday to express their show of support for their candidate. But what started out as a major celebration soon turned into a gory sight as some supporters on gaining entrance to the Tafawa Balewa Square TBS in Lagos revealed that they were attacked by thugs on their way to the campaign ground and some of the equipment carted away. Reacting to this, the Labour Party candidate Obi condemned this gruesome attack on supporters and the high level of political intolerance in Lagos State. He pledged to create a new Nigeria that is founded on justice, peace, and respect for the rule of law, while calling on security agencies to fish out the perpetrators.
Unfortunately, this is not the first time that campaign rallies have been threatened by hoodlums, unknown gunmen. Several politicians from the opposition People's Democratic Party have also complained of political harassment and intimidation on gaining access to some major spots in Lagos State. While accusing fingers have been pointed at the ruling All Progressive Congress, the party has since denied the allegation as baseless and irresponsible. Now, join us for analysis on this, we have Ndi Kato, spokesperson for the ObiDatti Presidential Campaign Council. A warm welcome to you, Ndi Kato, and thanks for joining us on the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Ndi, we've seen reports. I would like to hear your perspective on what exactly happened on Saturday. How many supporters were attacked, and what really happened to supporters of Labour Party in Lagos as they made their way to the campaign ground?
Well, what was meant to be a very good day, we started this day with so much positivity. Supporters in Lagos, which is one of our strongest days for the obedient movement, have been organizing themselves, and they were ready to come out in support of their candidate because they believe so much in him. And, yesterday people came on Saturday, people came out, organized themselves, came out, and on their way, people were so excited. So they wore T-shirts of Labour Party, obedient T-shirts and all of that. And they were picked because of this. They were picked on because of this. Somebody was stabbed, who were attacked, their vehicles broken. It was really terrible. And, what an otherwise, victorious day, because the outing in Lagos was really so good. But to have people terrorized like that for their political choices, and it's really sad because in media conversations, in a lot of conversations, you hear people coming and saying, oh, obedience are this, obedience are that. But the truth is, in this campaign season, obedience have been the ones who have kept us on our toes, have kept us to stay on the issues plaguing Nigeria during this campaign. We've organized ourselves peacefully. We have been exemplary in this campaign season. Unfortunately, we keep getting attacked. This is not the first time obedience are getting attacked. An attack has happened in Lagos of the obedient flag boys who used to carry flags around, and they got attacked, and it's not the first time, but this is really sad. These are ordinary Nigerian citizens looking forward to a better country, putting in their efforts, working hard so that Nigerians will get a better country. And at the end of the day, this is the result for it. It's really sad. And I'm really glad that the media is taking out time to shed light on this, to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We're calling on INEC, we're calling on all authorities to really investigate this, because keeping quiet about this is not going to help. When citizens start to feel like, during campaign season, we may lose our lives, or the dangers of politicking or partaking in the electoral system, this is what is going to happen, or partaking in democracy is going to happen. What it will lead to is voter apathy. And more than anything, we do not need voter apathy.
Okay. All right, Ndi Kato, you've brought about the situation of security and informing INEC and security agencies to do full investigation. Now, there have been various propagation and allegations that supporters of the ruling party, that is the APC, were responsible for these attacks. So what's your submission on this? A major political party attacking your party. And have you been satisfied so far with the response from security agencies so far?
So this is not the first time. There have been threats. There have been threats. Even last year, when Obedience were organizing their marches, supporters of the ruling party, even on Twitter, threatened Obedience. I mean, this thing has been very clear. They threatened Obedience, and these threats have been there since. If you come to Lagos, this is going to happen to you. Come to Lagos and see. Come to Lagos and see. And it's quite disappointing that security agencies ended up being reactive to this. They are being reactive. But what should have been is that they should have been proactive, security agencies should have been waiting, because they should have understood that, look, people are going to risk their lives to come out because they support this candidate. And chances are people have already made threats, and chances are they are going to make good on these threats, and they should have come out to make sure that people were safe. Unfortunately, that is not what happened, and many people got attacked. These videos were everywhere. These videos are gory. And even now, their response to it, I do not think that their response is fast enough, smart enough. We're not seeing enough investigation. We're not seeing them, the call to action is just not encouraging. It's not encouraging, and it's sad.
Now, indeed, some analysts have said the campaign rally took place at Tafawa Balewa Square, and the permit was issued for Tafawa Balewa Square, and therefore the police was prepared to look to secure the venue of the rally and not all the kickoff points. They said campaigns were held in places like Alaba, which was a kickoff point, and other places in Ikeja and other areas where obedience gathered and were having campaigns. Is this a valid excuse for them not to have enough protection? And as the police come out to say anything, and how do you respond to APC's submission that some of these allegations that they are APC supporters baseless and spurious?
APC cannot say that the allegations are clueless. I mean, again, their supporters have repeatedly threatened obedience. They have repeatedly threatened, and this is not the only political party that's supporting attacks in Lagos. This thing happened to PDP too. And so we can only point to one place. And again, they have threatened repeatedly that they are going to do this. And if they've threatened repeatedly that they are going to do this, why would it happen and all of a sudden after your threat, you didn't do anything when your supporters were making threats? Then it happens and you start to say, no, it's not us. That's just wrong. And the police also should look at this, that people can do anything and just deny because they expect Nigeria to be a lawless society. They do not expect that law enforcement is going to do their job or are going to do their job and catch the perpetrators. That is why people know that they can attack people and just disappear into thin air and nobody will be called to book for it. And I don't think that the police should be proud for this kind of thing. Their excuse is not selling at all. Are they saying that they cannot secure the whole of Lagos? That people who are going around in Nigeria or in Lagos, for Lagos to be very specific, cannot be saying, if something happens to you somewhere, as long as it is not the place where the police gather their vehicles, just take it like that. People are going up and down in their normal business in Nigeria, and this is part of people's business, and the police is supposed to ensure that every single Nigerian is safe. There is no excuse for this. Every single Nigerian should be safe in Nigeria, should be able to move around in Nigeria and assured that no attack is going to come to them. And this is not what happened today. And the Nigerian police needs to understand that the failure to secure these citizens, to secure their properties, to secure their lives, is wholly on the police. They are to ensure that Nigerians are safe, and they could not ensure that Nigerians are safe on that day. These excuses would just not cut it.
Well, of course, a lot of people were not happy with the turnout of rather what happened at the rally, people being attacked. Nobody would preach violence. But let's go on to the purpose of this rally, which was held at the Tafawa Balewa Square. You called it, or your party named it, as the motto of all rallies, a mega rally by your party. So why was it tagged that? And are you satisfied with the turnout so far at the Tafawa Balewa Square and even at other places where Peter Obi visited?
I'm very satisfied. I was there myself. This was really one of the most rowdy rallies I've ever attended. We went to Alaba International Market. These boys walked kilometers with us, from the market to ensure that we made it all the way out of the market. They kept walking, would not let Peter Obi go till they got to the highway. This was a kilometer walk. It was so encouraging to see that, to see people leaving their stores, locking up their stores and coming just because they believe in this man and believe in the message that he said. And it was really, really encouraging. We spent so much time in these spaces that we couldn't visit anywhere. And I believe Peter Obi has had to go back again to Lagos today. I've seen videos of him in Mushin and all of that. Those are things that you need to look into and cover. It has been such an excellent outing. Lagos could not be done in one day. We have to come back again. The stadium was also really good. Despite all the things that happened, people still showed up. It was a jamboree. People really had fun. And it's really clear, we need to understand that, look, with these rallies, we're not mobilizing. People are coming, they're organizing themselves. I have friends who were telling me of giving me updates of the buses and their movements that day. All their movements, people they're organizing, putting them in buses, whoever wanted to come. It really wasn't the Labour Party organizing these people. It was people organizing within themselves and coming out. And it was a really great outing.
Thank you, Ndi. Now, there's been a viral letter making the rounds on social media alleging that your candidate and principal, Peter Obi, gave 2 billion naira to churches in Nigeria for his endorsements. How does the Labour Party respond to this?
unfortunately, I mean, anybody who knows Peter Obi would know that Peter Obi will not bring out 2 billion naira and give for these kinds of things. He's just not the type. Perhaps if there was a situation where there was a crisis and lives have been lost, that is the places where if you hear Peter Obi and money in the same sentence, he's probably trying to help save lives. You know, he's probably responding to a crisis situation somewhere. Maybe there was a natural disaster, earthquakes and all of that. You will see his funds there. But to say to carry 2 billion for politicking, that is definitely not Peter Obi. Anybody who knows Peter Obi can tell you that this is not true. So when I saw that, it was laughable to me. And unfortunately, we have to address it in the media. And this is campaign season. But I'll tell you that if you know Peter Obi and you hear this kind of thing, you would just shake your head, because that is definitely not a story that goes with Peter Obi's name. He's not going to 2 billion. 2 billion. Peter Obi of Oshishi. No, that's not him.
All right. While we still try to question the validity of this petition, because this pastor, this so-called pastor, has come out to say that, okay, this money that was given was not shared to him and somehow the money disappeared. You would agree that your principal, Peter Obi, has also been going to churches, religious organizations, and even the traditional institutions to meet them, so to say. I mean, so what exactly is the role of all this? Because you can also say that he has actually visited these churches. Do you think that probably it has been taken the wrong way? What exactly is your take on that?
No, I mean, these are gatekeepers in our communities. These are gatekeepers in our societies. You cannot say that you want to campaign and you will not go to these people.
So he's soliciting their support.
You said?
I said, so he is soliciting their support, the religious organizations.
We need the support of all of these people. We need their support. We're not buying their support. We need their support. They are gatekeepers. And you know, people, I mean, media, you would understand the gatekeeper theory, and people who you know have a hold of a large percentage of the population. They are gatekeepers, and that's what it is. These people listen to them, and it's important that in trying to save Nigeria from the situation we're in now, we go to these people and try to reason with them and try to make them understand. Today are voters, many voters, millions of voters listen to them, and it's important to go to them. It's not, like I said, it's not just churches he went to. He went to Sheikh Gumi, he went to other religious leaders in other parts, he went to the Sultan of Sokoto, who is the head of Muslims in Nigeria. He has been going everywhere, traditional leaders, all of this, because these are people who, when they speak, millions of Nigerians listen, and it's important that you go to. We cannot relegate them in this election. This is a very, very important election, and it's important that all of them are on board. And I dare say, rather than us spend our money, many of these places where Peter Obi has gone to speak, both Christian and Muslim, traditional places, many of them are organizing on their own because they believe in the message. So when I saw this, it was trying ridiculous to me, because in many places, these people are contributing, that doing their own part to make sure that Peter Obi wins this election, because it's important for them. They are seeing what their congregation is suffering, and they don't want it to continue. They want a free and fair election. They want Peter Obi to win. They have brought their own effort to the table. I've seen reports, I've seen records of these people and the conversations we're holding and the things that they are doing. So to make it look like there's any financial inducement is just laughable. In this campaign, people volunteer, they bring their resources to the table. It's not the other way around.
Now, Ndi, some critics of your principal, Peter Obi, say, he's the same politician just trying to put on another cloth there. He used to be in ABGA. He was in PDP not up until a few months ago. So he's been opportunistic and taken advantage of the sufferings and the frustrations of young Nigerians. They also mentioned things like the Panama Papers, where he was indicted for having offshore accounts that prevented him from paying tax in Nigeria. How do you respond to those allegations that your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, is opportunistic and is still part of the old political class?
There was something that Peter Obi said before, some weeks back or some months back. He said, he was considered a good man till he decided to run for president. And that is when he's caring all sorts of things about himself. And, that is what is applying here. I mean, this is a man with a good track record, with a clean track record. You can see the things he's done in Anambra, education, improving education from number 20-something to number 1 in Nigeria. Healthcare centers, making sure all of these places are renovated. Security, supplying 500 vehicles to law enforcement agencies in the state. Making sure that armed robbery was reduced to 0 during his second tenure in office. I mean, I can go on and on. The money he saved is what we keep talking about over and over in this election. And more than anyone, Peter Obi has been the person who has made this election about the issue issues. So it's really funny for me to come and see that, oh, he's opportunistic. I mean, anybody can clearly see that Nigerians are suffering at the moment. Nigerians are going through hell, and that can push anybody who wants to rest to say, look, you know what? Let me come and try to run. I have something to offer, and I will deliver for Nigerians. The same way he delivered in Anambra, he can deliver for Nigerians, and that is what Peter Obi is here to do. It's like, I mean, these conversations to me feel like ad hominems, and they don't add to what we are running for. They feel like ad hominems to me. You know, it's throwing back and forth. Oh, this man is like this. He's stingy, he's opportunistic. But how does that affect the life of Nigerians? Because that is what is happening right now. Nigerians are suffering, and that is what these elections are about. That is what these elections are about. And if you say, oh, this person is just part of the order.
But Ndi, you would understand
more than any. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. You understand where this trust deficit is coming from. I mean, look at the APC and all what they promised 8 years ago, 4 years ago. And you can see the scorecard is out there for you to judge. So there's some that are deep in thoughts and saying, look, is another politician, why should we really trust him?
Why would someone come and make the elections about the issues? I want to remind you people where Nigeria was before Peter Obi came and joined this. I want to remind you people the kind of elections you people used to have. Some of your candidates won't even engage you. Peter Obi forced the other candidates to come and start engaging. It wouldn't have been this kind of election season if Peter Obi was not in it. We have changed the way campaigning, politicking, you know, the whole democratic process is happening in Nigeria, and that is because this candidate is different. So to just group him, I mean, I consider this baseless allegations, because at the end of the day, if Peter Obi was not running, you would have understood what real opportunism is, with people just going and taking advantage of poor people. That is when politicians go and sit in the market square, pretend to be eating with people, will not even address them properly and leave the place. That is not what we are here for.
Yeah, we've not. So I mean, kudos to your candidate. We've not seen.
Let me finish. If you see a politician enter the fray and decide to do the right thing and change the way politically is happening, I don't think that is the politician that should be called an opportunist at all. Somebody has entered this campaign season to tell you that it is his turn. That is what opportunism looks like. That is what an opportunist looks like, not one who is talking about the sufferings of Nigeria and how to change things.
Okay, but that's still taking the opportunity of what is happening going on in the country.
No, just wanted to add this, Rita, and I'm sure you agree with me that, I mean, we're moving the needle forward into discussing issues in Nigeria, and I'm happy that we've not seen politicians trying to buy corn or plait hair and all of that. So kudos to everyone for their contribution.
Okay, all right. Ndi Kato, we're still looking at your candidate now, your principal, Peter Obi. Somehow the name just resonates, just Peter Obi. And we know we have Southwestern State. I know he was the former governor of Anambra State. And now earlier today, there were reports of the Labour Party in Ondo State collapsing. Now, how do you look at the structure of the party in terms of not just the presidential level, but also the state? I mean, even if Peter Obi eventually becomes the president, he would also need supporters from the state to make him govern the country well. So how is he going to deal with the structure? Will he not be alienated in government? What exactly is his plan? Is he just going to be a presidential candidate only himself?
Definitely not. Again, these elections are the people versus the political class. And you can expect, these are things to be expected. The political class will definitely do what the political class wants to do, jumping from party to party, especially in the middle of election season against a candidate. That happens. However, this election is Nigerian people deciding we have had enough, and that these are the issues, these are the things to face. Now, at the end of the day, because our political parties do not have, they are void of ideologies, and it makes it very easy for people to just keep jumping from one party to the other. What would happen if Peter Obi wins election is that people would definitely jump back. Nigerian politicians are fickle, they will come back. And this is why we keep encouraging people who are politicking, because it is the ordinary Nigerian that is taking Labour Party on their head right now, deciding that we are going to push this movement. And because of that, we keep telling them, look, what you are doing is politicking right now. This campaigning and pushing for Peter Obi, what you are doing is politicking. Join this party. Make sure you join Labour Party, because at the end of the day, when Labour Party wins, politicians will decamp and come and sit in Labour Party and continue, and they will say that they are destructured. This is just how it is. When APC won PDP in 2015, we saw a lot of prominent PDP members that we expected that would stick with this party, who built their careers in PDP. They decamped, they served in PDP. In fact, APC is made up mostly of PDP members at this point, right? So that's the thing with politicians, they will shift. I will use this opportunity to encourage Nigerians. If you are partaking in this process, please Register with the political with Labour Party, because at the end of the day, when Labour wins, Labour will be populated. That is how politics in Nigeria is.
All right, thank you so much, Ndi Kato. We do hope that when this political party shift eventually, if they do to Labour Party, that the ideologies of what we are hearing right now and campaign promises will still be felt in governance if your principal eventually wins the election. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.